Hello. Welcome to Apache Junction, Arizona. I haven't been on YouTube for a while. I apologize for that. I've been busy writing, having surgery, going to the doctor, going to therapy, going to the doctor again, going to therapy again. You get the idea. But that's not an excuse. That's a reason. Now I want to start getting back on my YouTube channel again on a regular basis. I changed the name of it, by the way. It's now Cowboy Writer. So if you look for me, it'll be Markel Redmond at Cowboy Writer or Cowboy Writer at Cowboy Writer. I just thought that might be easier for some of you to find, and for new people to find especially. Back when I was teaching in South Bend, Indiana, I used to take classes through different classic books. I'd read something like Oliver Twist or The Scarlet Pimpernel, or one year we read Shane in a 9th grade class. And if I could, we lived close to within walking distance of the school at that time, so if I could, when we finished reading the book, after they'd had their final exam, we'd go over to my house and order pizza, and we'd watch the movie version of the book we had just finished. We had so much fun, and as part of the trip there, I'd take them upstairs, take the class upstairs to my study. Some of the kids called it the archives because it was kind of, it looked like what's behind me right now, only it was about, oh my goodness, probably 10 times as big as this. It was a huge room with shelving and books all the way around it. And I used to hibernate up there. That's where I started writing the Artie Anderson series. In fact, I wrote the first 5 Artie books in that room. But I loved having the kids come over and see my study. And whenever we had other company too, I'd bring them up and show them my study. Well, I can't do that because that house is gone. I have this small study where I'm sitting now, and I love it, but it's just the perfect size. But I wish I could bring each one of my readers here and let you take a look at my study. Look where I write now, where I do a lot of my creating, where the Box M Gang was created. But I can't. You're way too far away, and our house is so small. I'd have to bring in probably, 3 or 4 at a time just so you could see everything, because it's just too crowded in here. But I got an idea a while back, and I thought, there is a way I can bring some of my favorite people to one of my favorite places. And it's through video. So what I'm going to do is a series of videos, and this obviously is the first of the series. I want to bring you into my study and show you some of the things that are important to me. A lot of them are important to me because of the people that gave them to me, or the people that they represent or remind me of. But I want to do that in a series of short videos, and this is obviously the first in the series of Welcome to My Study. Susie and I, when I was first diagnosed with Charcot-foot. In fact, before I was diagnosed with Charcot-foot, something was definitely wrong. One of my feet swelled up, and it was misdiagnosed, and I wound up getting all kinds of treatment that made it worse instead of better. But I had to stay in the house a lot. When we were out here, I spent literally months in the house. It got to the point where the only time I went out for 6 months or more was to go to the doctor or to have surgery, and then after I'd healed somewhat, I had to go to therapy. So if you can imagine, the neighbors were amused when they'd say, "Hey, are you getting to go out?" And I'd say, "Yes, I get to get in the car and go for a ride." "Where are you going?" "Surgery." Or I'm going to the doctor's office, or I get to go to therapy again. But it was exciting for me because that was the only time I got to go out. But early on in that whole series, I mean, that whole regimen of medication and surgeries and all that, one day, I hadn't been anywhere for a long time, and Susie said, let's go out to eat. And, once was enough to ask me that. I said, all right, I'd love to. So even though our friends knew we were always at home, we just didn't go anywhere. She wasn't working outside the home at the time. She was taking care of me full time. So we decided we'd go get something to eat. And we were gone for, I don't know, hour and a half probably. We didn't go far, but it takes a while to order food and eat and then get back. And we came back. There was a rock on top of a sheet of notebook paper sitting on our front porch. And I thought, I'm pretty sure that wasn't there when we left. So we went out and got it, and I just couldn't believe it. Years ago, we met a wonderful couple at Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park in Fremont, Indiana, where we worked for, at least 10 years. And their names were Rick and Sherry Hemshoff. And we got to talking to them, and they said, we really like this park. In the winter, we go out to Arizona. Well, Susie and I hadn't been to Arizona yet, I think, when we met them, but we knew about where we were going to go, and they told us, and it was the same location that we were going to go to. So we got pretty excited about that. And it turned out that we worked the first couple years that we came out here to Arizona. We worked in parks, drove our motorhome out here and worked in a huge Cal-Am park. And we got to see them. They lived, maybe 15 minutes from us. And we got to see them, in fact, more often here than we did when we were working at Yogi, because at Yogi we were always busy. And when we came out here, eventually, we weren't working out here. We just came out here to relax and try to recover from the season at Yogi. But they have been really good friends to us, and we got to meet their daughter and their grandchildren. And the whole family has been such a blessing. In fact, one day somebody knocked on the door of our motorhome at Yogi, and I went to the door, and there's this young fella standing there, and I didn't recognize him. And he said he wanted to say hello, and introduced himself, and then I realized he was their grandson. So they came out here, the grandchildren, and the daughter came out here to visit, and they decided they were going to surprise Susie and me and stop by to see us. And that would have been such a delightful surprise, but we weren't home. We were out getting something to eat for the only time probably in 4 months that we'd been out somewhere like that. So we missed them. And they had to go back to, they had to leave Arizona the next day, so we didn't get to see them. But this rock has sat on my desk ever since. It's been right here by my desk, and every time I look at it, it's such a blessing to me. And it's not just the rock. I have the note on my desk. There's a door that opens up like it looks like a double file drawer, but it really is just a door. It opens up, and on the inside of the door is that piece of notebook paper taped there. The notebook paper, let me read this to you. The notebook paper has the date on it, looks like 2021, they even put the time, 2:45 p.m. Sorry we missed you. Ashton, Rylan, Brittany. Let me put my glasses on so I can read it. I have it on my phone so I can see it without crawling under the desk and losing you. They joined us in saying Get well soon, Mark. Lots of love and prayers coming your way. That was on the paper. This is the rock that they brought. Let me hold this up so you can see it. Oh, the print is backwards. And I'm not technological enough to know for sure how to turn that around. I'll have to do that before I do the next one of these. It says, get well soon, Ashton and Ryland Gerke. And then on the top, there's sunshine and some little brown thing. I don't know what that is. It might be a dog. I don't know. And then on the side are the three crosses that were on Calvary, on Golgotha's Hill. And because they are believers. But that is one of the things that to me has been so incredibly special. And I wanted to share that with you. And probably each time I do one of these, I'll share two things with you. The other thing I want to share, and I'll do this because I can do it, and it doesn't matter that it's backwards. Another good friend from Indiana, David Miles, a lot of you know him, is a phenomenal artist. I mean, just amazing. He illustrated the final book in the Artie Anderson series. He was the illustrator for that one, Artie's Tough Trail. The four before that, Laura Uri, our art teacher at Granger Christian School, illustrated, and then the first one was done by Don Bowers, who was an illustrator that worked for the Store of the Lord. And I don't think I'd met Laura when that first one came out. But one year, the date on this is August 29th, 2018. David Miles sent me a homemade birthday card. You remember when you were kids and you used to do homemade birthday cards for your parents? Well, he sent me a homemade birthday card, but he's cheating because he's an artist. So he comes up, this is what his homemade birthday card looks like. And I don't know if you can read the print on it or not. Probably not because it's backwards. But it says, happy birthday, partner. And here's what this birthday card looks like that he made me. Look at the detail on that. And he's pointing to his badge. But he did such a good job, and I keep that hanging in my study where I can see it right back there. And it's more than just something to boost my ego or remind me that famous people like me. It's just like the rock and the note that were on my front porch that day. When I see these things, I pray for these people because they're special people. And I never know what they need or where they are in their lives, but I ask God to bless them, and I thank God for bringing those people into my life. So, that's our first visit. Let me take my glasses off so you're not looking at a reflection of our house. That's our first welcome to my study visit. And we'll do more of these. I'll probably try to get one in once a week if I can't. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be retired, but I still work 5 days a week, and I work from the time Susie leaves to go to her job as an office manager at a resort near here till the time she gets back. I stay busy. Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays are the time we spend together. We try to relax a little bit. Sometimes we wind up working some anyway. But at different stuff, we work at stuff that we really enjoy doing, although I really enjoy writing too. All right, well, thank you for coming to my study, for coming to visit me, and we'll see you again next time. Happy trails.